Hi and welcome to this reading. Today's reading is a bit of an interesting one. I had been getting some messages through in a previous reading, specific messages about Benjamin Button. Now, I took the time yesterday to go and rewatch that movie. I probably hadn't watched it in 15 years. Well worth a watch. I will link it, not link the movie, but I will link the name of the movie, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, in the description. If this reading resonates with you, it might be worthwhile to go and have a look at the messages within that movie. I'm going to pull a card, and I want to pull it from my green deck. Woven. Things being woven. That's the past. My green deck is a new deck that I've created using images that reminded me of my grandmother who passed away maybe 15 years ago. But that's her wedding dress, and that is a doily that she made, woven. Something from the past. Saturday the 13th of December. That date might have relevance for you. That dress, she got married after the war. That dress was worn by 6 other people that day. That's a teapot. And the Virgin Mary, that sat on her dressing table. I'm going to leave those there. And we've got a big warm bear hug. Benjamin Button. That was my grandfather's dressing gown. Interesting. Okay, so what I was getting from this energy, Benjamin Button, that particular story, if you've not watched the movie, he was born the day that the war ended. Now, these two met. She was working in the small ammunitions factory in Lithgow, which is just outside of Sydney. And my grandfather was in the Air Force. He was a navigator in the Air Force. So that they were meant to align. They were meant to be woven together because they had this kind of military connection. So Benjamin Button was born the day the war ended. Part of a great reset. Something ending for a new beginning. The beginning and the end. I was hearing Back to the Beginning, At the Beginning with You, which is a song from Anastasia, the movie Anastasia. Return to the Garden of Eden, Living in Reverse, The Great Undoing. Now, for the past couple of weeks, I've been playing around, and it keeps popping into my mind, with the idea, what if all of this is just an illusion? What if the essence of everybody is the original Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and we were meant to get a glimpse at how far humanity was meant to fall into disgrace and despair so that we could come back to the essence of what we're all really here for. It was giving me that scene in the movie of Twilight in Breaking Dawn Part 2. That battle scene where Alice, they're about to go into this huge battle. Think of what's going on at the moment. Today's the 25th of June, 2025. This beautiful brown and white butterfly's just flown past. It's transformation energy, an opportunity to transform something. So we go from a war to a wedding. When Alice walks in and the battle is about to happen, and Arrow, the head vampire guy, touches her hand, and he basically sees the future. He basically sees how it all will play out. And in that moment, he kind of pulls back his hand and tells them all just to walk away. Almost on the brink of destruction, which is kind of where we are. Now, this could be playing out in your life. It's obviously playing out collectively because it's what we're seeing. But what plays out on the big stage actually plays out further down the tree as well. And that's not to say that people that are higher up in the tree are actually of greater value. In fact, the roots of the tree, the people, the human beings that actually ground things to the earth are actually of more value. I was picking up the energy of the Garden of Eden in the book of Genesis, which is Genesis 2:2. The flood, which is Genesis 7:10, and pulling through the themes of what if this prophetic clock that we are all living on, because if you think about the movie Benjamin Button, the clockmaker put the clock into the train station in the beginning of the movie, but he deliberately had it wound backwards so that they would never experience something like World War II again. Again, it's this mirroring, this synchronicity with that scene in the Twilight movie. It's almost a remembering. But what if the prophetic clock, and there's so many people at the moment that are drawing through synchronicities with stories within the Bible, starting from Genesis, working right the way through to Revelation, which is essentially the end of everything. Maybe we are actually moving backwards. Maybe the flood in Genesis 7:10 actually marks October 7th. In Genesis, the rainbow marks the 14th of September because it's 9:14. I don't know. I'm just giving you things that come through to me. What also came through to me, and it came through really, really big in that movie, this number 7, which if you've watched my readings, pulls through. Now, the 7 was referenced so many times in that movie. There was a guy who'd been struck by lightning 7 times. There was a part in the movie where Benjamin Button was referencing the fact that he was 7 years old. But many references to the clock and to the hummingbird. And I think in the movie, a hummingbird flaps its wings 1,200 times a minute, but it flaps it in the infinity pattern. Round and round and round and round and round and round and round. The beginning, the end, the beginning, the end, the beginning, the end, the beginning, the end. Benjamin Button in that movie, he's born as a shriveled baby that looks like an old man, and he starts his life as he grows. He grows as this old man, but he is this child within. And by the time he passes, he's a newborn baby, but he has all the characteristics of and all the ailments of an old person. And even if you think about how we are living now, the diseases and all of these things that we have now, that it's almost like we're living in reverse. Anyway, I'm going to pull some cards. Let me get this message that's coming through. Frustration, living in reverse. Elevation. And follow your gut. You are protected. I don't want one of those. I am going to get an angel who is walking with us at this particular confidence. 61 adds up to a 7. Humabel. The Ace of Swords. We're getting a truth. Soul Guardian for those born 8 p.m. to 8:20 p.m. Moral Guardian for those born the 19th of May, the 30th of July, the 10th of October, the 21st of December, and the 3rd of March. Physical Guardian for those born the 14th to the 18th of January. Let's get an energy. An energy. New Horizons, the 3 of Wands. That's the Sun in Aries. What's happening in the 3D, the Hierophant? Oh, I just heard God's taking the wheel. God's about to give us a glimpse of where we will end up if we keep going in the direction that this is the direction. This is the bird flying. If we keep going in the same direction that we're going, and the soul, the Knight of Wands. If we keep going in the same direction that we're going, the Knight of Wands charges in without thought. The Devil on the bottom. The destruction. The message from the man upstairs. The King of Swords. We're about to get a truth. And we're not going to like it, I want to say. That World War II was meant to be the war to end all wars. And here we are again. Round and round and round. The outcome. The Queen of Wands. Now, in the positive, the Queen of Wands is somebody that learns from the spiritual lessons. She's kind of phoenix rising from the ashes energy. Spiritually rich and sound, confident. But in the reverse, it's almost you can't tell me what to do energy. And the 10 of Cups on the bottom. It's a big spiritual lesson. And we've got the 6 of Swords. We are being guided. Let's get the 3 of Wands. The Knight of Cups. That's the Moon in Scorpio. And the 10 of Cups. We are being spiritually guided. Okay, now, the hummingbird. Let me give you some information about the hummingbird. The hummingbird in Gematria, its number is 419 or 708. The hummingbird, that 419 bird, aligns alphanumerically with mirrors, seahorses. Now, seahorses, so mirrors is looking in the mirror. Seahorses, a single journey, megaquakes, green aurora, the scribe of God, the emerald tablet, and 708 aligns with the matrix. This is what we're stuck in. We're stuck in the same karmic patterns. The great reset, the storm, true love, the Mayflower, eruption, the awakening, the financial crash, the Hunger Games. That was a big bloody timepiece, that clock. The Wicked Witch and Deep Purple. In Strong's Concordance, hummingbird aligns with the word weaving and the best ruler. Now, what did I say in negative energy? I can hear somebody saying, some world leader saying that they are the best ruler and, you know, blaming everybody else and, you know, essentially causing more destruction. Benjamin Button. This is the spiritual journey that we're on. This is the Moon in Scorpio. Scorpio is death and rebirth. I want to say here, this is somebody who is taking the world down a path of destruction because they're out of balance. And God's about to step in. Benjamin Button. Like, no joke, Benjamin Button, 1219 and 960. 1219, Trump Vance. The 10th of Tebet. Manhattan Project, I don't know what that is. War is coming. Disturbed, the sound of silence. The rays of the black sun, the 7th star. And in Strong's Concordance, 1219 aligns with public in full view. We're all watching. 960, Benjamin Button also aligns with 960. The sound of freedom, rose quartz. Let's get a bit of love into this. Divine masculine. Helicopter crash, Hillary Clinton, Swan Comet. The Swan Comet has actually come down into the southern hemisphere at the moment, and I actually think at the moment it is crossing over a part of the sky that's called the altar, the sacrifice. Are we going to be sacrificed because of somebody's? Babylon is falling, false prophets, 12 tribes, and the number 12. The Saturn rings, karmic lessons we're meant to learn. Revelation 10, Holy of Holies, and scorned and despised. Now, the other thing that I looked at, because I didn't know what the 10th of Tebet is. This year it falls on Tuesday, the 30th of December. It was the siege of Jerusalem. Kings 25, 1 to 25. On the 10th day of Tebet in the 9th year of Nebuchadnezzar, 588 BCE, began the siege of Jerusalem. 30 months later, the second temple was destroyed. Also when Ezra the scribe passed away. Then I got Revelation 10, the angel and the little scroll. I'm just giving you what I got. So if that bit you go, oh, and it piques your interest, go and look it up. There might be something in it for you. Finally, I put in infinity, which is this hummingbird. Infinity, 613 and 636. 613 is ring my bell. There's no place like home. That's the Wizard of Oz. Iranian nuclear bomb. In Strong's Concordance, it's concealing, keep in secret, or banned imprisonment. And 636 is prophecy, Metatron, divine plan, soulmate, nuclear bomb, hidden enemy, pendulum, the letter Z, tornadoes, pearl necklace, Easter eggs. Who is Eve? And as I said, it's this taking things back to the sacrifice that was made in the Garden of Eden, and this almost like, you know, Alice arrow touching Alice's hand and getting a glimpse into the future. Pomeranian, green swan, and rapture date. There might be messages. If this is resonating with you, and I can hear my dog in the background, use the gematria calculator. It's in the description box. Put in your dog's name. There's messages in there. Put in your name. There's messages in there. It's about, I guess everybody at the moment is feeling like within the world you have no control because the bigger players are in control, when the reality is you are in control of you and you are in control of your spiritual journey. You have infinite control of the journey that you are on. That's God. The soul contract that you have with God in this lifetime. To recognize that whatever is happening at the moment is part of a spiritual journey that you're on, trying to get you, illuminating, trying to get you back to your soul's original Garden of Eden, the sun. Illuminate you. Now this card actually came out in reverse, but with the sun there, illuminate you to the original journey of your soul, Queen of Swords. Truth. This is in the soul. Nine of Pentacles. It's spiritual freedom. The King of Swords. Justice card wanted to come out there. And the King of Wands. And he's just arrived beside me. Apollo, the outcome. The Three of Swords. And the Three of Cups. That's 2 threes. That's Empress energy. Venus and Taurus energy. 2 threes is 32. 2 threes. 32 is music and judgment. God, I just heard God's calling judgment on this shit show. I got a new car. Got this feature in it where if it thinks that you're going too far over the line, or, you know, it actually, you can feel the steering wheel pull. It's like God's taking the wheel. We're not in the driver's seat anymore. Let's get the Dove. The Key. I just heard Twisted Heart. Twisted hearts that think they're in the driver's seat are about to be transformed. God's got the keys. Okay, let's get some Scrabble tiles. Letters and numbers in here. I'm going to give it a shake. Does make a little bit of noise. If you have hearing sensitivity, just turn your volume down. I'm going to shake it in 3, 2, 1. Okay. F and a 4, a Z and a 10. Fusion, nuclear fusion. I know it's not a Z, but N and a 1, a G and a 2, a J and an 8, a D and a 2. I knew it was gonna. I just heard JD Vance. A V and a 4, a U and a 1, a B, a U-boat, a B and a 3, an S and a 1. Okay, I'm going to get you 3 final cards. Queen of Wands, the 9 of Pentacles, that's card of freedom, and the King of Cups, and the Queen of Pentacles. This whole thing is a spiritual journey that we are on, where we've got to tap into our intuition, even though we feel like we've got no control over what's happening. It's part of the collective elevation of the world. And we have to get to the point where we are almost, I want to say, about to fall off the map, almost at the brink of destruction, in order for things to rewind and for us to go back to the divine essence of what we're actually here for. That's what I've got for you. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. I'm deep in thought. That's my grandfather's dressing gown, and I just heard God's wrapping you up in a, God's wrapping the collective up in a tight bear hug in order for us to transform. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in another reading.